Hey, this is BTrades coming to you on Monday, February 2nd with a trade recap. Just want to go over one great level to level trade that we caught in the voice room today in the BTrades Discord. We're just going to jump in the charts right now and check it out. Okay, so here we are with the pre-market analysis, and you can see that this was posted at 4:25 a.m. That's Hawaii Standard Time, which is 9:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, so about 5 minutes before market open. Typically, I like to see the pre-market action and post as close to open as possible. And in here, you can see that I highlighted the value area from Friday between 69.47 and 69.7550. And I said, if price leaves this area and returns, look for it to traverse all the way through to the other side. And you can see like we actually opened right below Friday's value area and we filled this in the first 20 minutes. So this is a very high probability trade. If we are opening outside of the previous day's value area, there's like an 80% chance that we're going to fill it. So I usually just don't like to trade personally the first 30 minutes. But if you wanted to do one or two micros right here, this would have been a very high probability trade because you also have the confluence of the gap fill because we're opening with a gap down, and actually the pre-market during Asia session had sold off over 100 points and London had just ate that all up. So we had a lot of bullish momentum coming into the open. So it did seem fairly certain that we were going to get back to the close here, which was up here at 69.68, which I also highlighted in the pre-market analysis. So we jammed through there and then we retested the top of the value area from Friday with this red candle, which was also the news candle at 10 a.m. We had some red folder news, which is what I typically like to wait for 10 a.m. before I take my first trade. It's just that some of the volatility associated with the first 30 minutes is just doesn't really respect structure and has a lot to do with like standing orders. And sometimes we pump like we did today, and sometimes you'll just chop around. So I just think that first 30 minutes, it kind of degrades my statistical edge for my system. And all of my back testing is based on after 10 a.m. So I don't trade the first 30 minutes. So this retest was a potential entry, but the cloud was kind of flat. So I was waiting for more of a definitive trend formation. And there was also a lot of resistance right here at this 69.90 level. That was the high of day from Friday. And there was a big passive seller here that just kept pushing price down, eventually pushed down 80 points. So I didn't really want to take a trade into that known resistance. And in my mind, I was already thinking if we can break through this resistance and then retest it from the top, then I might be interested. There's also the confluence of right here at this 69.90 level was the SPY 5-day moving average. So it was just a lot of confluence about a previous day HOD turning from resistance into support. So as soon as we broke through it with this impulsivity, we left behind this fair value gap. And as soon as that happened in the voice, I said, this could be a potential entry, which I really like this idea of framing an entry well before. I like to say at least 30 minutes before you're going to take that entry, because then that gives you time to really wait. So what I want to see is that impulsive break of a previous resistance, internal liquidity to be built, preferably with candle closes above the level. And then so all these 11 candles were taken out right here with this sweep into that inefficiency, which was also the 5-day moving average, which was also VWAP. So when we are making these higher lows and higher highs and higher lows, VWAP becomes a very strong support. So that's why I took an entry here. And then when we got near HOD, we kind of had stalled. So I actually took profit. And then I was looking potentially for another re-entry. And when we dipped down here, there's actually a very small 25-cent FEG right here that this close and open are in, which I re-entered again. And I took that about up to this. There was a naked POC from last week on Tuesday. Um, and then, but price did eventually make it all the way up to the next level. I was a little bit worried about this big seller here at 7015, which has been pushing price down ever since January 13th. So that's why I had good profits, so I got out over all of my accounts. One member in the Discord, Peter, ended up holding all the way to target on four take profit accounts and ended up making about $400 per account, which was a great $1,600 day for him. Um, but so yeah, the real the good thing about this trade is that we saw it early. We talked about the plan when we were going to enter. We entered. Another thing I want you to notice is that this buying here is very controlled. One of the reasons why I didn't really trust it. Usually, if you're getting stops being run, you're going to get an impulsive move like this. And you can see that these three candles show real bullish intent and aggression, whereas this is more of a controlled buying. And the fact that we didn't take this high and we left a lower high here, that made this entry more probable because we have stacked now trend line liquidity above, which is, something about like that. So anytime you have a current high of day, and then a slightly lower swing high, that's a great target for liquidity. Price will want to go there. And then this area up here, this level also coincided with a previous day value area from Monday and Tuesday of last week. And I'm going to switch over to my NinjaTrader 15-minute chart where I have a volume profile on each day just to highlight that. Okay, so this is today's action from February 2nd, and then we have Friday here and Thursday. But if you go back and look, this is Monday and Tuesday of last week. And you can see as soon as we break Friday's high right here, this was at around that 10 a.m. candle, that is an obvious target. So we've already filled the value area from Friday and then Thursday's value area as well. And you can see like there's a little bit of a liquidity void that goes into where we had these 2 days, which were pretty much overlapping. And I also knew that there was a big seller here in between these two value area highs. And actually, that B zone's level is based on it goes from the value area high from Tuesday, which is 7013, to the value area high from Monday, which was 7017. And the high of day today was actually 7017 exactly. So, that's why I always say like zoom out, look left, and you can find previous areas where price has been accepted. And if you're breaking out, you can use those as targets. So especially because we did trade through this one, but was only with selling, so it wasn't really balanced. So it made sense that we came back up through and chopped through today because on Wednesday we opened above and just kind of dumped down. It's kind of inverse of what happened today that we opened below this value area and just pumped right from the gun. Um, so that is one of the factors that I use to design the B zones because instead of rather than switching between charts like 15-minute chart, where's the value area from last week? Like all of this is built into the B zones. So that way a lot of the decision making is done before the day starts as far as analysis goes and being aligned to that higher time frame. So these levels are all based upon these previously agreed prices. So as we're going level to level with that cloud bias, we are trading from different areas of value to the next area of value. And that's one of the reasons why it's so dependable that you're going to go from one to the next because that's what price is always just seeking liquidity. So when we leave one liquidity pool, we're going to go to the next one, especially if we use that bias, we know if we're going up or down. So above that 30-minute cloud, that EMA cloud, we know we're going long. And if we're below it, we know we're going short. The real key about today's trade was the patience required to wait for that setup once we had seen the potential entry. And I think that is something that will really help you to not be induced into chasing false moves and manipulation is if you have an idea for the trade that you want at least 30 minutes before you're planning on entering. So that is one piece of advice. If you have any questions about the setup or how you can get access to B zones or join the voice chat in the Discord, go ahead and leave a comment below or you can DM me directly. And take care. We'll see you guys tomorrow on Tuesday. Aloha.